Sonia Eddy, Jacqueline Zeman, Billy Miller, Tyler Christopher, Robin Bernard, Richard Simmons, Johnny Wachter, Doug Sheehan, Leslie Charlson, Denise Alexander, Chris Robinson, Tristan Rogers, and now we add to this list Anthony Geary. Today on the Snarkcast, we'll be doing our little mini tribute to the actor who just passed away, in addition to our regular snarking and our soap recommendations and our text messages. So let's get right to it. Hello everyone, I am Snark Jr. Joining me is Mama Snark, the top dog of the General Hospital Snark page. And yes, it was a very somber week, both here, and I'm sure if you're a General Hospital fan, but at home too, for you it was probably a somber week. There are very few soap icons. There is, of course, Susan Lucci, who played Erica Kane for the entire run on broadcast television of All My Children. There is Erica Slezak, Vicki Lord Buchanan on One Life to Live. There is Susan Flannery, who was both on Days of Our Lives and The Bold and the Beautiful, playing Stephanie Forrester for many years. And of course, Deidre Hall, who is Dr. Marlena Evans on Days of Our Lives. Everybody knows those names. Everybody knows they are the top people in daytime. There is only one male soap icon, and that was Anthony Geary.
Yeah, Tony was the king. And the thing that I think a lot of people forget, that he had various character roles before he was cast in General Hospital. And so in a lot of the memories that people are posting, there's that scene with him on All My Children, All in the Family. It's kind of like All My Children, All in the Family with Rob Reiner, which was very poignant.
That double tragedy, yeah.
Yeah, even people who don't know anything, like I ran into people the day after Tony passed, and I would say, Tony Geary just passed. Luke, as in Luke and Laura. And even if these people have never seen General Hospital or really even heard General Hospital, they know the couple name of Luke and Laura. I mean, that's so ubiquitous.
Absolutely. And he had a very varied career on episodic television in the late 60s, early to mid 70s, before he came to General Hospital. And when he came, he just thought it was going to be a 13-week gig. So he was probably like, why not? And he came on, and Gloria Monty, who had just taken over as executive producer, saw something in him that she liked and said, nope, you're getting a contract. And history was made, because shortly after that, General Hospital blew up in the ratings. There were very few shows in the history of soap operas that have pretty much dominated the ratings and dominated the soap opera landscape. The first was Search for Tomorrow, which was #1 in the ratings for years, followed by As the World Turns, which had a 20-something year run as the #1 soap, only to be finally knocked out by General Hospital, which was at the top of the heap for a decade before The Young and the Restless beat it out in 1989. And of course, Young and the Restless is still, most often, it kind of switches sometimes with The Bold and the Beautiful, the #1 soap. But we're not talking the same audiences today. What we see today is a fraction of what you saw in the heyday of General Hospital. General Hospital dominated the ratings from the late 70s to the late 80s. And I think that's why, more so than pretty much any other thing, is why Luke and Laura is so part of the pop culture, because that's what it was in the 80s. They dominated the first half of the 80s until they both left the show for the first time. And it was just like, nobody had seen that. And of course, General Hospital was changing when Anthony Geary came on the show. It had changed the model of how it was being taped and how the show was produced, obviously. And there's that famous story about Gloria Monty coming in and throwing out weeks of shows. This is stuff you could not do today because of cost. Yeah, yeah. And Anthony Geary was part of it. And I think he first stood out for me because I knew he was ad-libbing his lines, as an actor myself. I knew he was adding things, but everything he added really contributed to making that character his own.
Yeah, he was a rascal. And I have a feeling he was a rascal in real life, just like he was a rascal on television.
Yeah.
My memories of Luke are much later. They are in the second iteration, right? When I picked up watching again around 2010, about 4 years before I started the page. And as I've been reflecting on that, Tony, I even went and I went to the GH Wiki and I looked at the storylines from 2010 till the time he left in 2017. And can I just tell you, I couldn't follow what it was. I mean, the whole Fluke story, you guys, that was some weird TV. Can I just say that was weird? But the other thing I remember so fondly in those days was a relationship with Luke and Julie Berman's Lulu. Mm-hmm. They were a great team. And then the whole Tracy romance, which most of the time didn't feel like a romance, but it was awesome. So those are the things I remember most about Luke in the later years, and with Helena and all that. So that is my Luke, as opposed to young Luke and Laura Luke.
I tend more towards the young Luke and Laura years, because when I came back to General Hospital was when Ron Carlivati took over after One Life to Live was canceled. Ron and Frank Valentini, the executive producer. And at that point, I think there were so many ways the different writers over the years wrote his character that he really was sort of a contradiction as a character. He was sort of all over the map. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he this? Is he that? I think they wrapped it up fairly well when he left in just saying, this is who I am and I need to go off. His character was never boring. Never boring. He was always in the thick of it. Even when they brought him back and he was playing Bill Eckert. No, I'm talking about the early 90s when they brought him back and they gave him a family. And, this was the era of Paul Hornsby when he was married to Tracy, and Jenny Eckert was the cousin or something.
That's beyond my purview.
But I mean, he and not many actors can do this. He convincingly played a completely different character. And I think he took great pains to make him different from Luke. And the other big story I remember is when they both first came back and they introduced Lucky. They were living in Canada and they were running the L&L Diner. And that was big news even then, because at that point, soap ratings were starting to slip. So that was a big get for GH to get them back onto the show. And of course, because of Jeannie Francis, coming back and leaving and coming back, there was that whole era of just, Laura's in the sanitarium, and, which Laura. I didn't like much. Yeah, Laura really got the short end of the stick. Even back in the day, I mean, Gloria Monty herself. And can you imagine a woman producer saying this to another woman today? Gloria Monty even said, basically, he's the picture, you're the frame. That he was the more important character and she was just along for the ride, which I'm sure wasn't, not too damaging to poor Jeannie Francis. And here's the problem with any show that kills off a character before the actor dies. So I'm not sure how they're going to handle if they are going to do a tribute to Anthony Geary, because the character has
already died. Yeah, that's an interesting dilemma.
The only thing I could think they might do is maybe if they do a one-off tribute episode. But how would you introduce that? Because again, the character died 3 years ago. We had Felicia and Bobby and Robert and Mac and all those people sit around a table and reminisce.
Right.
So But I do hope he gets
Yeah.
some sort of a tribute. I don't.
You know, it's rare that when a soap actor dies, that national news picks it up and various agencies. And I did see in some non-soap sites that
Yes.
the rape was mentioned. And if you remember, they tried really hard to kind of whitewash that whole thing many years. Obviously, you can't undo what's been done, but we, of course, saw the relationship grow and develop into something very real. And then, of course, rapey Luke was gone completely when he moved into his relationship with Tracy.
I was too young at the time to really understand
Same.
what that was. But of course, there were extensive scenes of Jeannie Francis as Laura feeling traumatized and upset and everything. I also think within the general public, we didn't have the understanding of the repercussions of rape, what that really means psychologically. I applaud them though, and I've read that Anthony Geary agreed to do this. Michelle Valjean, who is the creator and head writer of Beyond the Gates, was a staff writer at General Hospital when the late 90s, 97, 98, when they wanted to revisit the rape, when Lucky finds out that his father raped his mother. And that's, as an adult then watching that, I think that's when it hit me personally. It's like, yes, this was a terrible thing. And to portray someone falling in love with their rapist, was just horrible. And Michelle Valjean, she's on the Soapy podcast. If you watch the Soapy podcast with Greg Reichart and Rebecca Budig, she talks about this. Michelle Valjean had been raped in real life at age 12 and wanted to write this storyline because she wanted to do it justice. She wanted to clear some demons, obviously. And as writers ourselves, we both know how writing can be very therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
And I think they handled that beautifully when they revisited it in the 90s. And, the fact that Anthony Geary, once he knew what was going to be happening, he agreed to it and said, go for it and go all out. So he wasn't afraid to show Luke as a bad guy, which as an actor, a lot of actors, even if they're playing a villain, don't want the villain to look bad. Roger Howarth famously quit One Life to Live because he was going to fan conventions and appearances and people were saying, rape me, Roger, rape me, very dismissive. And so he decided, I cannot be on this show. And especially, which they did do years later, having Marty fall in love with Todd Manning, her rapist. So I applaud Anthony Geary for agreeing to revisit that storyline and having the bravery to show that Luke was not always a good character. I mean, he was always supposed to be the anti-hero. But we loved him anyway.
Right, and that's what makes characters interesting. I mean, we have, for a year and a half now, we've been talking about what makes a character interesting. And part of that is the complexity. We become friends with these people, right? We know them. We watch them every day. We know how they're supposed to act because we've been knowing them, right? And so when a writer on a soap takes a character way off topic, as it were, and have them do things they shouldn't, it bothers us. But the thing about Tony as Luke is they could throw pretty much anything at him and he could make it work. And because he had a sense of humor, he had that scariness about him that I don't know that I fully trust you, but I really love you. I mean, he was able to be that fully 360 character that we knew was going to do wild and crazy things, and we loved him for it. And I really enjoyed the Tracy Luke banter that we got later on. And that to me, the mature Luke, I've had my adventures, I've had the love of my life, but now you and I are going to make this thing work. And, I kind of like you. And that was the way it was. And I loved that for them. So
Well, and that those characters both had the confidence because not everybody can be in a relationship and snark at the other person and know it's a love snark.
Safe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's they're safe and they're confident and they're secure enough in that love that they can banter back and forth and they're not hurting each other's feelings or somebody's not going to misconstrue something. Yeah, it was I didn't always enjoy it because I just thought it was a weird matchup.
Dynamic. Yeah.
But it was entertaining and I could appreciate it as this is what a more mature love looks like. Because Luke and Laura, no matter how much they aged, to me, even though Luke was considerably older, a very adolescent kind of love. They go on the run, they're falling in love. Mm-hmm. There were so many powerful scenes between those two. And even though there was a lot of sci-fi going on in the early 80s with the Ice Princess and the tropical island they were on and freezing Port Charles and stuff, that relationship always came through. We talk a lot today on soaps about plot driving the story as opposed to plot comes out of the characters reacting, driving the story, whatever. And there was a lot of plot in the 80s on General Hospital, a lot of capers.
Capers.
But you also, Mama's favorite thing, but you also saw the relationships. It really did. They were really able to focus on relationships and focus on plot at the same time. And a lot of what I've been hearing in the tributes too is the role of Tristan Rogers, who passed away this year, Robert Scorpio, as part of that, because he and Luke were like that.
I loved their relation. Talk about snarky.
Yeah.
They were great together. It's hard when you lose someone who's been a part of your life for so much. We feel the same about Rob Reiner. We feel the same about these other soap actors who have passed. It's been a rough time for General Hospital. It's been a rough time for everyone.
Yeah, General Hospital, and I've said this to you personally, has got to have had the most tragedies over the last few years. Just that list I read at the beginning, that's just since 2022, the people who have passed away.
I have a clip from one of the women I've met through the page, Connie Passalacqua Heyman. She has a alter something as Marlena Delacroix or Delacroix. Her nom de plume. And anyway, she has some memories of Tony she'd like to share with us.
My name is Connie Passalacqua Heyman. I've been a soap opera journalist for the last 40 years. I used the pen name Marlena Delacroix. I started writing as Marlena in Soap Opera Weekly in 1989. I love soap operas, and I do really love General Hospital. I started watching General Hospital around the time Tony came on, which was 1978. And in 1981, the day of Luke and Laura's wedding, I was invited by ABC to a press conference with Tony the morning of the wedding. And there were about 15 soap reporters there. And we got there, and Tony was very charming and very funny and very loose. And but I could tell that he was very, very uncomfortable. All of a sudden, he was at the center of the attention of the United States. And I don't think that it was very, very easy for him. He never really wanted to get pigeonholed on a soap opera, even though he loved Gloria Monty, who was like his mother, and he loved Jeannie Francis. But I think that he knew that he was going to get stuck as Luke for the rest of his life. I've loved his performances, and he's a genius. When Luke first came onto General Hospital, he had a very small family. Jackie Zeman played his sister Bobby, who was a hooker, and she was a nurse, and he lived with his Aunt Ruby, and they were very blue collar, but they were very, very loving. And we got to see all sides of Tony, his rough side and his loving side. And then he met Jeannie, and it was history. I had actually, personally, I had interviewed Jeannie even before he met her. I had interviewed her when she was 19 for Sassy magazine, and I found her just absolutely charming, smart, the most lovely young lady. Her father had been a character actor, so she loved acting because of him. Of course, you all know there was a problem because at the time, Laura was married to Scotty, who was played by Ken Schreiner. And Ken Schreiner was also a wonderful actor, and they really had a great storyline. And of course, eventually Luke won Laura over from Scotty. And at the wedding, he infamously caught the bouquet. That wedding day stopped the world. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And it was just a pleasure over the years to watch Tony and Jeannie. I think one of the things about Tony, and a lot of people have said this, he taught a lot of people how to act on General Hospital. And Jeannie was one of them, but Jonathan Jackson and Jacob Young. But he really was like a leader there. And everybody really loved him. But I want to thank my friends David and Leanne for having me on their show to talk about Tony today.
Those were great. So I hear you got some text messages from Wicked Stepmother this week regarding Anthony Geary. Is that correct?
It is true. So, as you may or may not know, my stepmother, Nina Shipman, was cast on General Hospital to die during the Lassa fever episode. And while she was on set, she got to meet Jeannie Francis. And in fact, during the time she was there, Jeannie graduated from high school and they had a big party while she was on set. I asked her to be specific about Tony. She said, "I was so saddened by Tony's passing. He and Jeannie were on the set for part of the time I was on the show. We didn't have any scenes together, but I remember being introduced to each other and his gracious, welcoming words to me. That's about it. But I do remember the entire cast attending Laura's staged high school graduation. I was definitely a fan of his." So thank you for sharing your memory as well, Nina.
That's great. I love it. All right.
Okay. Take care, my friend.
Yeah, you too.
And take care of poor Charles. Place needs you.
I'm not going anywhere. For now. Good luck.
So long, Sonny.
You will see your father again someday.
I know.
Yeah. Dad wanted me to give you this.
Really?
Goodbye, poor Charles. Good luck to you.
All right, well, trying to switch gears, as you know, is a little hard this week. We've postponed the Snark Awards. We'll start those next week. We wanted to give everybody a little chance, including ourselves,
To
to
breathe.
sort of breathe and live with the news, you know. But let's get right to it with another person we know through the page, Perry Shen. And boy, were we
Perry
on pins
Shen.
and needles this week, waiting for him to respond to our big welcome. We rolled out the red carpet. Welcome.
We rolled out the red carpet for him.
Because we were so happy to see him back.
And we love that Perry supports the page. He's been very supportive in the sense of saying things like, "This is my favorite General Hospital page." So we love having Perry on the page, and we love having Brad on the show. Oh my gosh. Having Brad and Britt back together with their nonsense, their tomfoolery, and all of their hijinks made me happy. It was just what we needed this week.
And yesterday was perfect.
Oh my gosh.
And, I mean, you knew it was coming, but you didn't know it was coming, which was
Exactly.
even more perfect.
It was good
But-
because they both think the other's rich and they're not.
Right, right. For once, because GH doesn't always do this, the fans were like, this is a good time for Brad to come back. This would be a good time. And they did it.
Yep, they did it. They heard my
Which is
cry
great.
on last week. He went through all of Selena's money in entertaining Gunther, the male model. That was a fun little detail. But what I thought was
Was it Portia's money or Selena's money?
Oh, I don't remember whose money it is.
It was Porth and Nina that.
Brad had money. He lost the money because he was Brad. I was impressed with how much Britt shared with him. She shared more with Brad than she has with Jason or anyone else. So I'm glad she has her friend back. That's awesome.
But here we go. Pikeman 20. We have changed the big boss. Just like in the Pikeman story, the big boss, you know, it's a she. No, it's a he. There was a big boss that they kept talking to, and now they've decided, oh, it was Sidwell.
It's just Sidwell. Yeah.
It's just Sidwell.
And basically
So I'm
right
disappointed
now,
in that.
Sidwell is basically either blackmailing or threatening everyone in Port Charles. So he's doing his job very efficiently.
I like Sidwell. I don't like that his hand's in everything. I think it's going to get to the point, it's too much Sidwell.
It's too much. You're right. And I don't hope it's Nathan, but I hope there is some other person pulling the strings here.
Well, it can't be Nathan right now because we're still chem testing away with Lulu. And I like them together, I'll admit it. I don't remember them being this chummy when Maxie was around, but, you know, Lulu is Maxie's best friend, so yes.
They know each other.
They would know each other. They would, yeah. I loved Charlotte's sort of brutal honesty, which you captured so well on the page this week, by the way. Kudos. Chef's kiss on that one. Because it was like, whoa, can I just go in a corner and cry now?
I know. Lulu's on the phone to her psychiatrist going, I think I'm needing to up my antidepressant dose. Could you take care of that, please?
It's like she came out of a coma after 4 years and both her kids are kicking her to the curb. Oh, I want to be with my real mommy, Britt.
Well, if she weren't so strident, that's the word. I know they're trying to tone her down a little bit, but it's not enough yet. And I'm sorry, I think Lulu and Dante are the worst parents. They're the worst parents. They should not have teenagers. They have no idea how to take care of teenagers.
Well, Dante especially these days. I mean, when he's making Lulu look good, that's pretty bad.
That point right there. If he's making Lulu look good, you know we have a problem.
And I at one point, and I think we might have given a Snark award to Dante. Well, last year he was best dad. That's not going to happen this year.
He's going to get the grumpy
But,
cat
you know, we
award.
were really looking to him at one point as being sort of the male lead of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And now...
That was before Michael was recast, yeah.
That was where Michael was recast. And that was before this whole Geo thing. Because it's just... I mean, you can see Rocco with supervision. What the heck?
What was it? We gave Dante the award last year because of how great he was with the kids after Sam died. That's why we gave Dante the award. But
and this is why we give awards every year.
You never know what's going to turn up.
Best dad last year can end up being worst dad this year. Although I have to think, we haven't decided that award yet. Who's going to be the worst dad this year? But I think Dante's in the running.
Dante is in the running.
Delighted you or delighted
Tracy's
you or
back.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I love me some Tracy. And the fact that she's mad at everyone because they didn't tell her about Ned. And now she's mad at everyone because they didn't tell her that Drew stole all her crap.
But I like those scenes, and I thought they were realistic. The Ned.
And I love the Quartermain tradition of planning our perjury ahead of time. Let's stand in the kitchen and talk about what we're going to lie about on stand.
And we criticize the writers a lot. We admit it. But they have done something that people were complaining about for years. They brought back the Quartermains front and center, and they added to the family. And I think a lot of that is, yes, new Michael, because we now have a leading man in the role. And the fact, I like the fact that even though he's using Corinthos as his last name, I like the fact that he is plunked down in the middle of the Quartermains as well. He's not denying that part of the family. That makes me happy.
If 2025 was the year that we got all the Quartermaines back, can we make 2026 the year we get the Cassidines back? I need Nicholas. We need more Cassidines. Those people are important to the plot.
Well, I'd be happy if we bring back Liz's family in 2026.
Yeah, her kids have been shipped off into the wonderland of wherever, and poor Liz.
And all three of those kids fit a demographic that's on the show right now. Cameron would, of course, would be with Joss and Trina, that crowd. Jake, because I was looking the other day, tell me if you got this vibe. And again, now I sound like a crazed fan. I'm watching the scenes between Danny and Charlotte and thinking, are they the next romance? Because I remember when they were sort of backdoor having Charlotte and Jake hook up. But they should bring Jake back. He should be in that mix.
And that young actor was really good.
Oh, Hudson
I don't
West,
remember. Yeah, fantastic. Hudson, yeah.
And of course, Aiden, they need to de-age him a little, but Aiden should fit in with the Jake, Charlotte, because he's that age.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because Charlotte's 17, Danny's 16.
Right, and Emma and Gio are 21. Yeah, that's right. So we've got this.
Yeah, don't do math, because we know when Charlotte was born, but we have everybody.
Someone made the comment the other day, where's Avery?
Yeah,
supposedly 11. I could see them Sorazing her to fit in with the gang if that's for next summer's thing. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean,
we got a lot of kids in the closet, is what we're saying.
We know why Donna's in the closet. She was off doing great things there on Wicked, but yeah, I have no idea. It's ever since the custody battle was over between Ava and Sonny, she's just disappeared. Avery, it's like Crypt Baby no more.
Well, let's face it, we've basically lost Ava. Ava is very much on the back burner, right? And that's another 2026 thing. I want Ava back with a story. Let's put her with Jens. Let's get her involved in that. I know that we say it's like Pikeman 2.0, Pikeman 2025, but I'm enjoying the complexity of these stories.
Well, here's the difference too. Pikeman, original Pikeman, OG Pikeman, had a lot of extra characters and new characters that came in and out. There was that arms dealer Pikeman guy that was in and out.
Oh yeah, we had no idea.
Yeah, at least this time, if they're repeating the Pikeman, we don't know where we're going plot. At least they're doing it with characters we know, which of course always goes down better than characters you don't know.
But it means that someone's got to be the sacrificial lamb at the end of this. And
right.
So
I just want to see the story Bible for Sidwell, because I don't think there is one. I just think they were so happy they got Carlo Rocca on the show, and now his wife, who I don't want to see leave because I like.
Oh, she's fantastic.
I mean, what do you think of the trial scenes?
Okay, so the trial is not as boring as it often is, mostly because they're keeping it contained in an episode, right? It's not one whole episode of a trial, which we've had before, and it was like, I don't even know how to snark that, right? So I think it's good. We're seeing everybody say the things we expect them to be, but I am hoping that my Christmas present will be Willow having a meltdown.
That other personality coming out. I swear, I just drove down your block and stopped. What makes that work is you've got two smart characters going up against each other, Janine versus Alexis. So I think the writers kind of raised the bar because the trial makes sense. There's none of these people trying to get away with getting evidence. And although, again, the Keystone cops, how they lose footage.
You don't lose. You always make copies. You put them on multiple servers. This is a ridiculous plot point, people. If this was 1970 before we had digital things, I would believe it. But this is not realistic. They have jumped the shark on this one. Not happening.
Yeah.
And first of all, we have the mislabeling of the film. And then we have Brennan who can miraculously go in and remove it. I'm sorry. This is a bridge too far for me. And I will say this. We still don't know who shot Drew. right?
Oh God, no.
It could be Willow, and I think Willow obviously is the number one candidate, but I am seeing comments on the page. If you go through Shouty Thursday,
Yeah.
people are saying, wait a minute, it would be so boring if it were Willow. It needs to be somebody else. So I don't know. I'm not completely convinced it was Willow.
They might decide sometime in February sweeps. I don't know if it's. So, who was your character of the week?
Well, it would be super easy to say Tracy or Brad. I'm going to go with Rocco. Rocco was my character of the week. And the way he stood up to his mom and his dad and wore yucky shoes to court, love me some Rocco. Rocco's my
That's
character.
very realistic. The put on good shoe. Yeah, that's very realistic. Oh, but these are more comfortable. Again, Brad would be the obvious choice because he had such a great re-entrance.
Great entrance. Yeah.
But I chose Janine because they showed her as capable in court as she claims she is out of court. The way she introduced the evidence, the way she had the witnesses up on the stand. So I was really impressed with her because, again, we've seen other ADAs and DAs come through this show.
That we
and just
hated.
be messes.
I would love to
Just
see
be hot messes.
Janine and Alexis become friends. I like two very smart women being friends. Yeah.
Let's get to the soap recommendations this week. This week, we're going to focus on who's left, right? Josh Swickard,
Oh, yes.
who has had such a wonderful career so far, General Hospital, and then doing these Christmas movies.
And some of them with his wife, too.
Exactly. And we're going to start off with one with his wife. It was the very first one he did, called A California Christmas, back in 2020. Now, here's the plot. Needing to acquire a California family farm to complete a business deal, CEO Amy Van Asten forces her Casanova son, wonder who that is, Joseph, to seduce the woman owner into complying or else lose his lavish lifestyle. So right away we got blackmail and we're trading on someone's looks. Anyway, he gets there. He's mistaken for an expected ranch hand. So he accepts the job as a means to infiltrate the situation and get the owner to sell. Unfortunately, manual labor is not in his background, and neither is falling for a woman he is trying to seduce. Yes, his co-star was the famous Janice the nurse, who was assigned to Sasha in the sanitarium. Now, here's the rub with this one, and it disappoints me. It was the number one movie in the U.S. on Netflix when it was released. It's no longer on Netflix. It's the only movie not available. So, which is odd, because there's a sequel, which is on Netflix, called A California Christmas, City Lights. Yep, we follow them 1 year later after they fell in love, but now they're running a dairy farm and winery, like most people do. But their romance is threatened.
Nothing gives that bouquet for the wine like cow manure.
Right. But their romance is threatened when business and family obligations call Joseph back to the city. And that, again, also stars his lovely wife. His third movie, A Hollywood Christmas, is about a successful Christmas movie director begins living her own Christmas movie, so it's part fantasy, when a handsome network exec shows up threatening to halt production on her latest film. That one, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch on HBO Max.
I might find a hot toddy and sit down and watch this. Maybe
some of them are worth. I could watch. I've seen worse gentlemen in these movies. I could watch Josh Swickard for an hour and a half. And his fourth one, which he did 2 years ago, Holiday in the Vineyards. It's currently on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it features two other soap stars, Eileen Davidson, who is Ashley on The Young and the Restless, and Anika Noel, who is Hope on Bold and Beautiful. Now, tell me if this plot sounds familiar. Carter is living a playboy life, but his mother, who runs a large wine company, wants him to straighten up. So she sends him off to secure a deal where they intend to purchase the last vineyard they do not own in the valley where the company started. He meets Valentina, who is the real estate agent handling the sale. She thinks he's a carpenter and hires him to fix her guest cottage in exchange for him staying there for a week. Carter realizes purchasing the estate would destroy the local wine culture that the town is invested in. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, since you can't see that first movie, you can see it under a different title on Netflix. So there you go. Same exact plot. Ryan Carnes, who was our last Lucas, is in a brand new one this year called A Cherry Pie Christmas, wherein a pastry chef returns home for the holidays and must choose between her dream job, always the dream job, and the legacy of her family's cherry orchard business. With a little help from her high school sweetheart, wonder who's playing that, and a lost cherry pie recipe. That's on the free streaming networks, Tubi and Pluto. And one more, but you won't be able to see this until Christmas 2026, but it was just announced, Hallmark's Holiday Ever After, a Disney World wish come true. Now say that 3 times fast. It also stars Lacey Chabert, who was one of the earlier Biancas on All My Children in the early 90s, and Travis Van Winkle, who is done so much. He's personally a friend of mine, so I'm giving him a shout out. But that doesn't come out till next Christmas, and one of the stars is our own WSB agent Vaughn, Bryce Durfee. We've wrapped up the week. I feel like we're wrapping up the year, although there's another week in this year. And yes, we will be back day after Christmas with a new Snarkcast. In the meantime, check us out on X, Facebook, of course, Spotify, YouTube, Substack,
Any
all those
podcast.
places. Like and comment, subscribe, and especially comment. We love the comments, don't we?
They're very good. Yeah. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy solstice. All the things are happening this time of year. So everyone be safe, be healthy. We'll see you next week.